Hey guys, it's Aldo from Heatscore here. Thank you for joining me. We're actually going to be trying something different here on the channel today. We are going to be interviewing Lazuli Records artists, and for this first edition, we head down south to the USA, Texas, to chat with Shadowstar. Shadowstar released his EP Through the Veil EP on Lazuli Red, and the record did extremely well, reaching the top spot on several Beatports charts. So we're going to ask him how it felt to be side by side with the industry's top dogs. As well, we will be chatting about his personal experiences in signing with deadmau5's Mau5trap. We are also going to touch base on a few tips and tricks that he's going to share with you. So stay tuned to the end. You guys are definitely going to learn something from this very talented DJ and producer. And as always, you guys can hit me up on socials at Heatscore_official on the IG. My website is heatscoremusic.com. My label's website is lazulirecords.com, where you can find all of our releases, including cool merch and discounts if you sign up to our mailing list. And our email is lazulirecordsofficial@gmail.com, or you can hit me up personally at contact@heatscoremusic.com. So let's get to it, guys. Let's get to meet the man behind the music. This is Shadowstar from Texas, USA.
Man, it feels pretty good, actually. The biggest thing that I've learned is that it's everyone who supported the release to get to the top 100. It was a moment for me to recognize how many people are supporting me and how that rallying can really get you in front of other people. Yeah, working with Mau5trap has been really eye-opening. It allowed me to understand from the first time that I got to meet Joel that the industry has a lot of smoke and mirrors, and he dispelled those for me. And that kind of gave myself a sure direction on my path to follow what's true to me. So I originally thought that my style would be heavily influenced by Mau5trap, but Joel was letting me know from the very beginning, with all the artists that he's worked with, in the beginning, artists tend to write a carbon copy of a carbon copy of a carbon copy of music until, 10 years later, they start writing the music they really want to write. So he cut through the fluff and was just like, is this what you want to write? Which helped me understand that I need to find the sound that I'll be happy to write for the rest of my life. I think it's a bit validating and removes a lot of the imposter syndrome of what bedroom producers go through over time. But again, this really comes down to nothing but gratitude. To make it up in those charts, which can feel somewhat like vanity metrics, you really have to have a good group of people supporting you. And one of the things that Joel told me was that you need to find a group of friends, even if their destination is different than yours, but y'all are all equally passionate about your craft, then you can reach new heights. And I think that's what happened with this EP, is the support that went round, that I've been giving and that I've received, really came to fruition. Techno right now, I feel like, is resurfacing for a lot of the younger generations. And I think it's that shamanistic, hypnotic vibe. And I think because world music and bass music has kind of had a throne in the US for a while, it has started to bleed over back to the shaman 4 on the floor. And with my music, I think the difference in how I might influence younger generations or even this current generation is adding the hypnotic effect, but also the psychedelic sounds, the things that kind of bleed over from psytrance and start going into this genre that is kind of taking people by storm, called psytech. For people who've never heard that genre before, they're probably like, what is it? But for people who have been in the underground music for a while, it's like, oh, Sci-Tech? Yeah, like there's so many offshoots, such a big window. So there's really endless possibilities to discover where this inspiration can take us. Oh man, that's a really good question, actually. When you think about being an artist, if you can kind of keep what we call in the dojo, the school I teach for, a white belt mentality, it means you're always learning. You're always taking in new ideas. You don't become closed-minded. You don't get set in your ways. You try to find the best workflow, the best way to be innovating. And as a teacher, I have to remember where people are at, and I have to meet them at their level. And at the same time, I have to be able to transmute that information in a way that they can understand it, such as finding the open-mindedness to discover and take risks. That's the biggest one. Take risks. Yeah, so for sure, Il Gates is one. He showed me how to use workflow in a way that helped my process, not hinder my process. How to write music quickly and finish it fast. And then Bass Clef is one of my mentors as well, and he showed me a way how to remove the emotion of being attached to a project and remembering that it's almost like once you finish a song, you're no longer the owner of it. It's the people, and they do with it what they will. But I think the biggest one that I've learned right now is from Francis Prev. Francis Prev has been like a guiding light for me recently, showing me how if you have sounds that are novelty, right? These are those sounds that are innovating and pushing the envelope. If you have those sounds and you are able to make them timeless, the shelf life of your music becomes timeless. And that is like gold. Well, I think performing would be really fun. I want to find where I belong. It's like finding your tribe or your family. If I can find where I belong, then I don't have to convince people what I'm doing is good. The experience itself will be the proof. And I think that also the music career always will bleed into teaching and giving back as much as possible. I mean, that's literally what feeds my soul. So I'm trying to find a way to reach people that may not have this information at hand. I always want to give what I never had. So if I can find a way to do that, I think that will allow me to dream something amazing. But I also want my music career to do something beyond what I'm capable of dreaming. Yeah, so I'm actually going to be collaborating with a few artists from the most recent labels that I've signed with, which should be interesting because they're a little more heavier techno. And mine's a little slower, a little more progressive in a way, like dark progressive. So it'll be interesting to kind of see like the faster techno aspect influence my sound. But ultimately, there are record labels and artists that I want to work with so bad. You know, if I think about like Drum Code, I would love to make it to that height at some point. But it's like Rene Weiss, I would love to collaborate with him one day. So I've got like my dream list. Maybe in the next year I could do a remix or something for Speaker Honey and see what she thinks on Mau5trap. That'd be pretty fun. I think if you want to make your mark in the techno genre, you can go two ways. One, you can deliver what is hot right now, and that will teach you everything you need to know about basic arrangement and what risky sound design techniques you can utilize. But really, at the end of the day, keep it simple. If you can keep it simple and effective, it's like earworms. It'll latch on to people, and I think the biggest thing that I could tell like an aspiring producer that really wants to make their mark is understanding that when somebody tells you to be original, what that means is be authentic to yourself. That's how I perceive it anyways. Like, don't try and do something so crazy that is inauthentic to yourself, because that's not going to translate. What translates is when you go so far inside, find what's authentic to you, and then bring it out through all the risk.